How you doing, everybody? It's your boy MMA Mechanic, and today we're doing a full what's next video for all the major fights that happened on UFC 319. Who should they face next? We're going to find that out here today. First, we're going to jump right into the first guy on the screen. We got Lerone Murphy. I know he's on a crazy win streak. I know he knocked off Aaron Pico, who UFC was very high on. He beat Josh Emmett. We know he beat Edson Barbosa. You know what I'm saying? He had Dan Ige. He had some good wins, you know? Again, I don't know that he's beaten anybody in the top 5. And also, Michal really deserves the next shot. However, since he's not getting, or since he pulled out of the Aaron Pico fight, I do think that these two should fight to determine who should be next. In the meantime, you have Diego Lopez versus Eugene Silva too that are gonna fight. And I think that that's another matchup that we can consider the winner of that one to fight Volk. It just makes it more interesting in the top. I do think Volk's next fight should be his last anyway. So him waiting a little bit extra to fight one of these gentlemen, I think is the right move. I don't think that Lerone Murphy should just get the title shot. He hasn't beaten anybody in the top 5, I don't think. And yeah, so that's the way I'm looking at it. On to the next. We got Dricus. Obviously, Rainer the Ritter. I did it in my previous what's next video when Rainer the Ritter beat Robert Whittaker. I said this would be the matchup to make if Dricus lost, and Dricus lost. Middleweight is so crazy right now. So you got Dricus versus Rainer. You got Anthony Hernandez waiting on the horizon, and I think he should fight the loser of Kai Barajo versus Nasruddin Imavov. I think Anthony Hernandez should fight him, and then I think Khamzat should fight the winner of Nasruddin versus Kai Barajo. MVP one. I mean, middleweight's looking kind of crazy right now. So, I personally think Kai Barajo is going to win, and I think Kai Barajo is the toughest test for Khamzat. We will get into that at a later date. I'll do a full video on that, on why I think that. But I just think, I'm telling you right now, Kai Barajo is going to present problems, real problems to Khamzat. I think he's probably the only one of the top 5 that will, to be honest. Aaron Pico, yeah, let's get you Pat Sabatini, man. Get you somebody outside the top 15. Winnable fight. That's probably what you should have got in the first place. So, Aaron Pico, chin's not really there. But again, he looked very good to start the fight. So, with that being said, I know Pat Sabatini, I think he won his last fight. So I think, this wouldn't be a fight way down the rankings, like top 30 or something. I think this is something that's just outside the top 15. That's a good win for him. That can kind of maybe set him up for a top 15. On to the next. All right, we got Leon Edwards. I think this is, listen, Unk's got to go, right? Leon Edwards has been around for a while. He was a previous champion. Carlos Prates has been very dominant outside of his Ian Gary fight, even though in that fight he had a chance to win. I do like how Carlos Prates looked versus Geoff Neal. He looked very fast. The foot battle, he was looking very, very calculated. His game plan was really well, worked really well versus a striker like a Geoff Neal. And I think that he would have a lot of success versus Leon. I actually think he would knock Leon out. But Leon is ranked number 6 still. Carlos Prates, let's get him up the rankings. Let's get welterweight interesting as well. A lot of these younger guys are coming up. You see what's going on in middleweight. I think the same could be on the horizon for welterweight. And the reason why I say that is because imagine this matchup. Yeah, tough. That's a matchup for a future matchup right there. I'm extremely high on Michael Morales. I'm very, very high. I've been calling his, been singing his praises since he debuted. Literally, once I watched the Contender Series fight, I've been singing his praises since then. Carlos Prates, I'm extremely high on the entire Fighting Nerds, all of them. You know, so I think this is a future matchup. I'm not, that's not what I want to see next. I want to see Leon versus Carlos Prates. But man, Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates would be heat, man. That's for the future. But yeah. Next we got, this is a no-brainer. Izzy versus MVP, man. And literally, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know what Izzy would have for him. I think Izzy though would give him probably the best test, because this would be a striking battle. I do think Izzy would give him the best test striking. I don't know that anyone can strike with MVP, man. In a strict striking battle, where we saw what happened with Jared Cannonier, took him down, beat him up badly, had just dominated him. And we've seen Izzy have some top control over Alex Pereira, so maybe that's the thing. But I do think this would be a striking battle, and this would be one for the ages, man. This would be something I would get up to watch for any day of the week, honestly. I think this is a big matchup. This is a legacy matchup. This one, I think this is a no-brainer right here. Gerald, let's give you Abus. Abus, he beat Michal Pereira. I do think that Gerald coming off a loss, Gerald beat Robocop in his last fight, lost to MVP. I do think that Abus winning his last fight, makes sense. It makes sense. This is a winnable fight for Gerald. A very winnable fight. I think Gerald would actually finish him, because I think Abus would gas and Gerald would just beat the shit out of him. But I like this matchup here for both men. It makes sense. Geoff, Neal, Gilbert Burns, baby. This one makes sense as well. Geoff Neal just can't seem to crack the code like some of these younger cats coming up. The Carlos Prateses of the world, Ian Gary's. He just can't seem to crack that puzzle and get up into the rankings. So I just think that we'll see him be kind of like a gatekeeper. Gilbert Burns is a good next test for him, and then we'll see who's coming up the rankings after that. That'll probably be his next test if he beats Gilbert Burns, which I think he would. Let's get to the next. So, all right, Eric Nolan. Makes sense. Both guys fought on the same card. Both guys, had tough defeats, to be honest. So both guys will probably need some time to recover. I think this makes sense. I almost thought about GM3 versus Baisangur, or however you say his name, because he would test him on the ground. But I'm kind of tired of seeing GM3 get beat up badly. You know what I mean? His last three haven't looked good. So yeah, I think this is Eric Nolan, GM3. Both guys on the same card. Both guys need some time to recover. Both guys coming off losses. This makes sense. Eric Nolan, I still am. I'm excited by Eric Nolan. I like him, like his boxing. I thought he was fighting well until he got hurt. So yeah, GM3 would give him a good test too as well. So yeah, I like this matchup. Next, then we have Tim Elliott. Let's give Tim Elliott Andre Lima, even though Tim Elliott's on a 2-fight win streak. Let's not act like he's about to go on a run. Andre Lima, that's a good test to get him into. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He won his last fight by sub. This is a good test to get Andre Lima up into the rankings, top 15. Because we're not gonna start acting like Tim Elliott's gonna make a run. He's not. So although it was a very impressive win versus Kai Asakura, but I just think Kai Asakura showed that he's not quite ready for top caliber competition if you can't even beat Tim Elliott. So all right, yeah, Baisangur Susurkaev. I don't know how to say his name, but Rodolfo Vieira, he's gonna give him a true test. Where Rodolfo isn't like top 15 or anything like that, but this is a very, very, very good test for a very, very good prospect in Baisangur. He's a good prospect. I think this would be the test we need to see if he's the real deal, baby. Because Rodolfo will test him for sure. Rodolfo is a fighting nerd now. Looked good in his last fight. Both guys coming off a win. I think Rodolfo fought last week. Coming off wins. Beat Trayshawn Gore. Both guys coming off wins. And I do like this match. It's a good test for Baisangur. Asakura match now. We need to get Kai a win, man. And, Meerschaert is a pretty chinny guy. Listen, I think that Japan, I like the idea of the Japan fighters in the UFC, and that's a good market. And Kai is still a huge name, very popular guy, huge following. Let's get him a win and see if we can get him back in the right direction, right? All right. So on to the next. Karine, let's get her Tracy Cortez. Both women are coming off wins. Listen, I know Karine didn't look the best, and she lost her last fight as well. But she's like won 7 of her last 8. Tracy Cortez is on a similar run. Both women. Let's get this one together. This would be an exciting grappling match. Both women coming off wins. Like I said, this would be an exciting grappling match. To see who can get another shot at the rankings. I was thinking about Miranda Maverick for Karine Silva, but Miranda lost her last fight versus Rose Namajunas, and I just think that both women coming off victories, be a good. Maybe the loser of this fight's Miranda Maverick. So, all right, Calvin Gastelum, Michal, Oleksiejczuk. Listen, Michal's good. Michal is good. I would like to see him get one more win, one more quality win. Calvin's game. We saw him go out there and put out a good performance, a doggy performance versus Joe Pyfer. Let's get Michal one more win. I think Michal knocks him out. Let's get him one more win. Before he'd be 3 in a row. He'd won 3 in a row. He's a new fighting nerd as well. Fighting nerds, man. You can see the fighting nerds Cabarajo's influence on Michal Pereira. He literally, the fight style was very Michal Pereira or Cabarajo-esque in this fight. And I think this might be a resurgence of Michal Oleksiejczuk, man. This could be a resurgence. Let's get him another quality win, and then we start looking into up the rankings, closer to top 15, and then maybe one more, and then inside the top 15, and we'll go from there. But Michal Pereira he's one of those guys where I don't care who he's fighting, I'd be worried. He could be fighting a top 10, top 5 guy, and I'd be like, okay, if that left hand lands. Like Michal Oleksiejczuk is one of those guys, man. So yeah, let's get him another quality win. Let's get him one more win after that outside the top 15, and and then let's get him a top 15 opponent. I think the fighting nerds are rubbing off well on him, and I think this would be a good next test for him. All right, Alex Hernandez. Both guys coming off victories. Both guys fight off the same card. Both guys didn't receive too much damage. Makes sense. Let's make it next. Drakkar Klose, Alex Hernandez. Both guys on the same card. Both guys coming off losses. It makes sense. Listen, Chase Hooper I don't think is going to go too far. But, Edson Barbosa, he's on a tail end. I mean, if I want Edson to retire, I like Edson. I like his career. I thought he was a legend. Hopefully he retires. If he doesn't, they'll give him Chase Hooper. If Chase Hooper can't pass that test, then we really know what's up. Chase Hooper's for a washed Edson. You should be able to beat a washed Edson if Drakkar Klose can beat him. So that's the way I see it. All right, y'all. Well, it's your boy, the MMA Mechanic. Like I said, subscribe, like, share, comment, hit the bell icon, all the above. Until next time.